You are like the king of keeping your peace.
Right.
So I want to know, like, how did you get to a point, like, in your healing journey when you realized that peace was something that you can establish, that you can create, and you can actually, like, live in?
Meeting more and more people not from my immediate background. You know what I mean? Living out of state, meeting people from different countries, different cultures, different backgrounds, and just understanding that my norm wasn't the real norm and it wasn't a healthy norm. There's too many things that I let go on in my life that I didn't have control over that affected me and my internal and my peace. There was too many variables that, like I said, I can't make that decision for people, how to treat me, how to react to me, how to respond to me. So you take that and you add it on top of also me not being an open person. So now I'm very more open, more vulnerable, more willing to share and just share more about myself, just because in order to learn me, I have to, make that a possibility.
Can you take us down memory lane to like a pivotal point where you're like, my peace is disturbed and this is how I'm operating within that, and I know that something needs to change, and kind of like what that moment, like that catalyst moment was?
I started to get used to being alone again. So just me being, again, I'm somebody who I went to college away from home. So I got used to being alone. When I moved back, I was around a lot of people again. So I got back into an uncomfortable space. So just getting back alone and being by myself again, it was like a positive trigger in a way. Like, okay, I remember how this felt to be able to come home and knowing that nobody else is going to make a noise to tick me off based on just my day of what I just went through. Or if I wake up early in the morning, 4 or 5 in the morning, I can play my music as loud as I want to. This is whether I'm living with my parents or, whether I'm living with anybody, just sharing a space with somebody else. So just understanding that and learning that I want to be, in order to be the best version of myself to others, I have to first do that internally. And that was kind of my main focal point. It's like, okay, how do I be the best father? How do I be the best friend? How do I be the best coworker? How do I be the best spouse? Anything is like, okay, I have to be the right version of myself. Because what I was doing was I was trying to, when I'm dealing with you, I'm trying to be a good friend. When I'm dealing with you, I'm trying to be a good friend. When I'm dealing with somebody else, my kids, I'm trying to be the best father. So instead of making it one umbrella thing and a bunch of different subtopics, it was more so just me focusing on that in that moment, and then I'm on to the next, and I'm on to the next. So this way it's a little bit more structured, right? If that kind of makes sense.
So what made you want to be the best? Like, why did you desire to not just be...
Not content?
Yeah.
So I started to see a lot of myself in my son. And just, I remember, obviously we say the inner child of us, we look alike, we have the same mannerisms, we act alike. So I would just see him, and it just made me conscious of like, damn, I remember how I felt growing up for all these years and not being able to feel complete before like 2 or 3 years ago. You know what I mean? So my main thing is to figure it out so I can instill these morals and intangible things into him, so he doesn't have to deal with the things that I dealt with. Because I know the temptation and the paths I could have went down, and I wouldn't be sitting here with you guys right now. You know what I mean? So I don't even want to expose my son to that. I want to give him the tools early. First, I want to learn the tools so I can instill them into him so he can know how to navigate through the world.
What I'm hearing here is that like one of the big catalysts for you was like the moment that you had your son, when you had your son, and then obviously probably moments throughout raising your son where you kind of saw him and you saw things in him, and you remember that specific moment even for yourself going through that same thing, and how people responded to that, and you kind of wanting to shift maybe how he experiences people's responses to that. Can you give us an example of like one thing that you're doing with your son right now that's kind of a part of your own healing journey that you're kind of including into your parenting?
I can. So just the other day, I took him to see Spider-Man, right? It's like one of those moments like your kid's humbling you in ways that you'll never expect, and they don't even realize what they're doing, right? So I take him to see Spider-Man. I drive about 30 minutes from Oakland to go to a specific theater because they have like the moving seats or whatever, right? And part of me was thinking about, okay, I asked him, I said, hey, do you want to go to a regular theater that's right by the house, or you rather go to the one where the seats move? But I know my son doesn't like roller coasters, right? He doesn't like heights. He's like super careful. I was the same way. But we go to see the Spider-Man. I drive out there. It was funny because we're at the buying the tickets, and I break $100 bill. My son being 7, Daddy, that's $100. He's so excited. I'm like, yeah. The shit was like $80 with the snacks and everything, right? Yeah. Because the tickets were like cheap. 20 a piece for because the seats move. So literally, we walk in the theater.
Some moving seats, y'all.
We walk in. Somebody's sitting in our seat, so they're getting up to move. Mind you, I'm holding all the stuff. As soon as he sits down, the seat jerks. He jumps up. Nope, I don't want to do it. I haven't even sat down yet. I have the popcorn, the drinks, and I'm so frustrated because I'm like, what do you mean? I'm scared. Mind you, we're sitting. This is a movie theater seat, but that's just how extreme my son is. So he's like, no, I don't want to do it. I'm like, you sure you don't want to just try it? He's like, nope. So I say all that to say, I remember being a kid and being the same exact way. And I got so frustrated in that moment with him. And then he killed me because he says, Daddy, are you mad at me? And when he asked me that, it's like, nope. You know what I mean? Because I don't want him to, because I immediately was just like, I just drove way out, all these things, and he doesn't understand that. He doesn't. His thing is, so my whole thing was, okay, am I going to force him to stand in this uncomfortable situation just because I spent some gas and a couple more dollars, or should I just go change the damn tickets out and get him a regular seat? And eventually I ended up doing that. But just little small things like that I remember doing as a child, and knowing now as a parent how my mom would react to me when I would put her in those situations, I just try not to react that same way with my kid. Sorry that was long-winded, but I just wanted to give all the aspects to it.
No, and it's talking about like generational narratives that you're discovering about yourself and just behaviors around parenting, and that's important. That lets me know, like, you have like a lot of self-awareness when it comes to like cycles that are repeated in behavior. So I mean, your son's going to be really great for that, and also you're just securing the fact that he can speak up for himself and like let people know when things don't make him comfortable, because I think that that's also a part of our healing journey is authentically using our voice, even if it sounds like ridiculous or it's out of context or whatever. It's really not about like what other people's perception of you is. This is a teaching moment for me. That, you should really like own and value your voice in situations that make you uncomfortable. So I want to know some of the things that you've overcome that have taken your peace and have taken you on this journey to like really heal, to find peace.
It's pretty much doing things that I know I shouldn't be doing, even if it's interacting with certain type of people. You know what I mean? Again, it's just controlling the environments I'm putting myself in to control my peace, if that makes sense. Like I'm not gonna go to a certain person's house knowing that they have the ability to trigger me. You know what I mean? And if I am in that space, instead of responding, I just remove myself. Because again, you have somebody who's trying to understand and speak logically, but then the person might think I'm trying to attack them, and it's not always the case. I'm just trying to understand your perspective, and also at the same time, I'm not trying to justify my actions. I'm just giving you my perspective of why I made those decisions that I made. So I think that's kind of one of my main things with that.